Hello there everyone, welcome to a new video. It is me, Desiree, and we are here today to do a comparison, swatches, thoughts, all that fun stuff on the Kat Von D Lolita palette and the Kat Von D Lolita por Vida palette. I bought this one at Sephora. Actually, I bought both of these at Sephora. I bought this one late last year. This was in a video I did called Honorable Mentions, I think, like almost favorites, stuff I still wanted to mention, but it wasn't a favorite. And this one was $49.50, quite a hefty price tag on this palette. I will swatch this and everything for you, but this one I've had for a few months now, and I've been using it regularly. I am wearing it today. But I recently got the original Lolita palette. I had been wanting this for so long. I mean, it's just absolutely beautiful. Both of these have super stunning packaging. Like, I just want to keep it just to look at it. It's so pretty. But this is on sale on Sephora's website right now for $22.50, if I'm not mistaken. And that's when I finally decided to buy it. This one is an all matte palette. And I think this is like, is this an iconic palette or is it the Lolita shade that's like her iconic shade? Either way, this palette is absolutely beautiful. I've been wearing it. I love it so much. But I wanted to compare these two, the formulas, swatches, any overlapping shades, all that kind of stuff. So let's start with the original. Okay, let's start with this one. Like I said, $22.50. It does come with 8 shades. They're all matte. It also does come with a mirror up here, but I'm gonna hold it like this, a little upside down. All of these are matte, and they're obviously all the same kind of color family. Definitely very purple, very berry. Even the shades here that might appear brown, like this one, has a really nice purpley berry tone to it. And Kat Von D's formula isn't one that I have always really loved. I've loved her packaging, the aesthetic of her brand. I like her as a person. If you have a personal opinion on Kat Von D and her life choices, this is not the place to voice those opinions. This is just about the makeup at the moment. I will not entertain or engage in any conversation that is not about just the eyeshadows. Anyway, just had to say that. So I've never really loved her eyeshadow formula though. I love the packaging and everything, and I always want to buy the palettes, but I just don't enjoy the formula. Obviously these are not swatching amazing. I don't think all shadows are meant to swatch amazing. I've seen some awful eyeshadow palettes swatch like a dream, and then obviously vice versa. So not everything's meant to swatch amazing, but I think you already knew that. All matte palette here. And like I said, I've never really got along with the formula. I always found it patchy. It would skip, it would stick, it wouldn't move. Never enjoyed the formula at all until I started wearing eyeshadow primer. And I don't necessarily think it's one certain primer because I've been bouncing around a lot, even with concealer as a primer. These work so well. I think it's just having something on the lid that really made them work for me. And I never used to use primer before, so I think that's why the shadows never worked. Whatever reason, they work for me now, and I've really been enjoying them a lot. So this is the Lolita palette. I like this palette a lot. Every single shade I've used from in here blends super duper easy. Obviously, it's all in the same kind of color family, so everything kind of goes well together. You can get a bunch of different looks from here. They're all going to be in the same general tone though. So if you don't love this kind of color scheme, obviously this palette is not for you. It does come with one really deep shade here, which I think was really good. It kind of makes everything else just stand out a little bit more when you have a little darkness on the outer corner, maybe the lash line, or all over the lid, however you use it. I really think this palette needed that dark shade. And that's actually something missing in the newer palette that I'll talk about in a minute. But I love this. I have nothing bad to say about this palette. I don't get any fallout. It doesn't kick up all over the pan. The formula is really well done. I think as long as you use some sort of base, whether it's concealer or primer, these will blend like a dream for you. I get why this palette was so popular, why the shade is so popular. This is Lolita right here, if you didn't know. I think she released this also in a blush, but I think the blush was also an eyeshadow, so maybe it was an eyeshadow single. I don't know. I haven't used it on my cheeks at all. But I think this is lovely. I love it so much. I think $22 is a freaking steal for this palette. I think it's awesome. I wish I had bought it way sooner so I could have been loving it way sooner. But you know what? $22, great deal. If you haven't already got it, if you're looking into it, if you're interested in it, right now is the time to check it out because it's on sale. If you already wanted it, don't buy it just to buy it. Okay, next up, the Lolita por Vida palette. So this was the first one that I bought. I know, it's kind of weird. But this one is humongous. This is a big old palette. This one comes with 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 shades. A mix of mattes and shimmers and these 3, like, I don't know what they're called, but I'm just going to say, like, special shades. And a 1 disgusting pressed glitter in here. Yuck. I feel like a lot of brands might regret putting this disgusting glitter in their palettes right now because it is just a super trendy thing to do. And next year when you pull out this palette to use it and everyone's over the glitter, you're still going to have it in there all dried up. So I don't know. I wish they had just released glitters in singles and people that want them can get them and everyone else can just have another shade there or something. Just a personal opinion. I know a lot of people love those glitters. So this was in an honorable mentions video. Because of the special shades in here, I could not get them to work for me. The glitter especially is just a no-go for me. I'm not even going to swatch it. I just don't like it at all. But these 2 here, they're like super like wet-looking foiled shades. They swatch amazing, but I could never get them to transfer from here to my eyelid at all. I would use my finger or a brush and it would just not stick. Like the brush would just keep going over my lid with no shadow getting stuck to the lid. When I use it with my finger, same thing. Like it would just get a little patchy. Hated it. I did not like them at all. And I was like, what a waste of 3 perfectly good pans that are not good. And then I started using them again. I wore it yesterday and the day before. I wore 1 of each. And I have found the best way to use those special shades, these 2 anyway, are with nothing on your lid. I just put primer and that's it. No concealer. I haven't tried it with concealer actually, but I don't know. I'm all into primer right now. Primer, don't set the primer, don't put any powder on your lid whatsoever, like bare lid. These will stick and they will look so amazing. They look like they're flat, like foil, like a mirror finish, but when you get them on your lid, they look more like glittery, like teeny tiny little flecks of glitter, but it's like beautiful. They will get fallout though. Once you start blending the outside, like the line with something else in the crease, you are going to get glitter little specks all over your face. That's what happened to me anyway. So the next day when I went to use this one, I did do my eye makeup first and I loved it. It wore all day long. I loved it a lot. So those 2 I will swatch of course for you, but I found the best way to use them is with bare lid, some primer only, don't set it and put it on with your finger. Oh God, they're so pretty. As far as the matte formula goes, it's very consistent with the other palette, with the Lolita palette. Very nice, very, I don't want to use the word basic, but even the shimmers in here is just a basic formula. And I feel like a lot of products, when they're super cheap, people will give them a pass because what did you expect? It was $3. It's good for the price. And they kind of give it a pass, even though it's not really that good. They'll think it's amazing for the price. But when palettes are very expensive, like this was $50, it was $49.50, you expect a lot. And when it doesn't meet that expectation for the amount of money you spent, it's like, is it worth it? I'm not the authority on whether or not this is worth it. Like with the materials and everything, was this $50 worth of stuff? Who knows? But the formula is nothing to write home about. The shimmers especially are so basic and they're not exciting. They're not, I feel like a jerk right now, but they're just nothing special. They're not crazy. They're not especially shimmery. I'm wearing one of the shimmers on my eyes today and you could hardly even see it. I don't know what it is about this formula, but I also think it's because right now shimmers are not just regular shimmers. Shimmers right now look like this in palettes. Like that's what's considered a shimmer now, is like a foiled metallic, rich, dense, creamy, almost wet feeling shadow. That's what shimmer is now. So when you see something that's just a basic, normal, everyday, bare bones, actual shimmer shade, it's not impressive because you have stuff that's over the top crazy. So I don't know. I would just say be like, what's the word? Like hone in your expectations a little bit, rein it in a little bit, and maybe you'll like the palette. I do like the palette, but I find it a little underwhelming, I guess. But let's start swatching, shall we? I'm just going to do these 6 right here. the top two are shimmers. This is the one I have on my lid right now. It just looks wet. And it has a bunch of little teeny tiny blue or green sparkles in it. But, I mean, I'm going to show you. Like, those are two shimmer shades. The next two right here. All of these have names. Of course, they're all Spanish. And I have the worst Spanish accent ever. So I'm not going to say all the names because I just will embarrass myself. This is that one little special shade in there called Dulces Sueños. This is what we think shimmers should look like now. So when you see everyday regular shimmers like this, they don't hold a candle to what current shimmer shades are. So just so you know what to expect with this palette. So those are the first 6 shades there. As you can see, like they're not super pigmented. Even on the lid, like you have to put quite a bit of these shadows on. Like the pigment is just so light. I don't know what it is. Let's go with the next section there. I find this palette as well a little more work appropriate, I guess, or professional. Like if you work in a place where your makeup can't be a distraction, this is a basic, everyday, go-to, easy formula to use. But like I said, a little underwhelming. I don't hate it. It's just, I don't know. Can't really describe it. The glitter one is in this section. I'm not gonna swatch that because I hate it. There you go again. See, this is one of the shimmers that it looks really pretty. It's the shade called Cruise. This one right here. It takes a lot of building up, and even when you touch these, they feel like the matte shadows, the shimmers do. It doesn't feel like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I mean, it's pretty. But even with the shimmers here, I feel like you have to put them on your bare lid. I have a hard time getting the shimmers to be shimmery or like even look like they're shimmers whenever there's anything else on the lid. I feel like they're kind of finicky in a way. I don't know. Kind of weird. And then we're going to swatch the next one here. Let me dry my hand off a little bit. There's these here. See, this one is like a shimmer how we expect them to look now. That's the one here called Rosario. Very, very pretty shade. This one also has one of those special shades that, oh my lord, is so... Look at that shade. It's so pretty. This is one that when I first swatched it, I was so disappointed because I could not get it to look like that on my lid. And when you put this on your lid, it doesn't have that super mirrored finish. It just looks like that when you swatch it for some reason. But once you get this on your lid, it looks more glittery than anything. Really, really, really pretty though. Like almost looks like it's wet because there's so much glitter, like little tiny flecks of glitter in it. This section here definitely has the most pigmentation. These little 6 here, the purples and the berry and that little red one down there. The most pigmentation, I think the most like punch. The row right here, that's a little more neutral. Not a ton of pigment there, definitely more of like an everyday friendly kind of eye. Something very basic, very neutral, very light brown. And then this one here, a little more on the warm side. Not a ton of pigmentation here either. These 3 are nice. Like on my eyes right now, I have on Sylvia and Enamorada. I'm sorry. Kind of mixed together in the crease. I have Juanita in the outer corner, mixed with a little bit of the Cariño shade over here. Just for a little darkness, and then I have Sonrisa on the lid. In the pan, it looks like this. On the lid, looks like this. Like, I can't get it to look like that. I've even tried wetting the brush. I've tried it on the bare lid. It's just not, I don't know. I really, really, really love the Lolita palette, and I think it's because there's less in here. There's less chance for disappointment, which kind of sounds weird. But it's all mattes. You see what you're getting. The mattes are nice. They're pigmented. They blend. They're a really nice color family. But then in here, there's so much. And then the shimmers are just like nothing to write home about. Like I said, not everything is super pigmented. But it's still a nice palette. It's just a lot of money to spend on a basic palette. And it looks like it's not a basic palette because it has these crazy shades in here. But the formula and the overall, like, everything about them to me just seems basic, if that makes any sense. If you have this palette, let me know what you think down below. If I have offended you because you love this palette and I called it basic, I am sorry. It's just my opinion and my experience with the palette. It's just, I think because the shimmers in here don't live up to or can't compare to what we expect shimmers to be now. Doesn't mean they're bad. It just means it was underwhelming, I guess. But that is it. That's it. That's all I got. Those are my thoughts, opinions, and swatches on the Lolita and Lolita Por Vida palette from Kat Von D. Let me know what you think down below if you have these, which one is your favorite. Let me know your experience with the formula. I would love to know down below in the comment section. And that is it. Thanks for watching this video. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you later in another one. Bye.